So again, thank you, friends. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Really, it's always a great privilege to be able to gather together in person and then virtually to reflect on and discuss and practice the Dharma. So this session is mainly going to be a meditation practice on the Dudjom Tersar Ngondro with just right now a short little window of kind of some essential reminders. And these are very honestly and realistically reminders to myself. I'm just a student, and Venerable Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal Rinpoche has asked Lama Laia and myself to just help lead this session when it's available, and so kind of feel like I'm just doing my best to try to fulfill that request of Venerable Khenpo Rinpoche. So these really very actively are just for my own mind reflecting on some of the important points that I've had the great opportunity to receive of Dharma. And so I think in one way this is just kind of, it's good to be upfront that we're just repeating these same words that we've heard, many of us have heard from these great, noble, living lineage masters, words taught by the Buddha, words preserved by this chain of lineage masters who took these same words, the same instructions, the same advice, and looked into their mind and checked the truth of these words for themselves. And they really put the time in to mingle their mind with this inquiry, with this investigation, which is what the Dharma asks all of us to do, is to really see for ourselves. In Pali it's e ipasiko. The Buddha said, come, see for yourself. This is what the Buddha discovered to be the truth of things. But we have to actually, in order to get much benefit from that, we actually have to test those teachings, that advice for ourselves. So there's three general phases that are often referred to in Buddhism. There's the first phase when we come across the teachings of just intellectually investigating them. We kind of look at and inquire and analyze the teachings. We have the great fortune to receive teachings, to listen to them, to read them, to connect with these noble living lineage masters. So this first step is just in getting a basic intellectual understanding of what the teaching is. And then as we continue, then we actually want to test this teaching to see the validity in our own experience, with our own mind. Is it helpful? Does it make me happier? Does it make me kinder? And we test that. So as we test the teaching, we put it into practice little by little, drop by drop, day by day, and then kind of accumulate, kind of refine this kind of intellectual understanding, and we eventually have some kind of a glimpse of an experiential insight. We get a little taste. Oh, this is true. So that's this experiential taste. It's a direct seeing, a direct perception or experience that, oh, for ourselves, this teaching actually is true. This is helpful. And then as we continue applying those instructions and those teachings, that what initially is a brief little window of experience becomes longer and longer. We become more and more familiar with the teaching. We line up how our habits are more with the actual nature of how things are as well. And that becomes more of a sustained realization. And so we go initially from just analytic understanding, and then we apply it into a more of a taste and experiential direct experience of the validity, the truth of the teaching. And then we actually start to sustain that. We start to mingle or absorb the teachings into our hearts through practice, through meditation, through this reflection, contemplation, meditation, until we become the Dharma. And so, like the noble, great kindness master Buddha Shakyamuni was completely mingled his entire being, body, speech, and mind with the Dharma. And so he had sustained realization, and in this context is called enlightenment. So little by little, drop by drop, we have to refine our concepts. We remove the negative habits that are kind of keep us stumbling, make us feel down, make us feel fuzzier, lost, more confused, more stuck. We'd remove those little by little, and then we increase the good positive qualities we all have, these natural qualities of mind that we all have, this kindness, patience, ability to forgive, a sense of self-worth, that others are valuable, that the opportunity is precious and fleeting. Kind of these Dharma insights, these very powerful, profound insights, we start to bring out these good qualities that are naturally there. So we eliminate what was blocking those good qualities from being there, and then they just start shining out more and more brightly, these good habits. And eventually there's no more covering, there's no more veil, there's no more confusion, there's no more habit, and we just become natural. And we just kind of sustain more and more a state of being natural, of being what we really are. And so this is a Mahayana teaching, that this inherent nature of all beings is empty of being stuck or fixed in any way, and it's full of all these wonderful, infinite qualities of love, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity, all these goodness qualities. So bodhicitta bursts out and just becomes our natural, everyday, uninterrupted experience. So that's essentially the path. We remove the negative habits, perform the positive habits, and then tame our mind, which another way can be said to reveal the innate goodness of our mind, our fundamental nature, which is beyond habits, even good habits. So that's the path. And I think it's good to remember, because, I'm a sentient being, and maybe many people are sentient beings, that what we do is we wonder. One of the key definitions of the human realm is doubt. In one way that's interpreted by Venerable Khenpo Rinpoche in their book, Door to Inconceivable Wisdom and Compassion, is we just doubt the truth of our experience. We get a taste that, virtue leads to virtue. If I'm kind to someone, kindness comes. If I don't get as angry, I'll feel better. Like these small little insights that are actually very significant. We doubt them. That just happened before. Maybe that's not true. So we basically kind of keep sabotaging our path towards virtue and our path towards naturalness. We just don't actually get certain about it. We don't get clear about it because we keep interrupting it with this doubt, this hesitation. And so there's different degrees of teaching, and the teachings are vast and profound. They're so deep. But in the end, we need to gain a certainty wisdom, unfailing doubt in the teaching, by testing the teachings for ourselves, by putting them into practice, by really seeing for ourselves, by tasting the teaching again, by seeing the benefit of removing some bad habits, seeing the benefit of increasing positive habits. We really have to develop an unwavering conviction that this is true. And so this conviction has nothing to do with a typical fundamentalism that closes one's eye, where we don't test for ourselves. We just close our eyes and have blind faith and hold on real hard, and everything has to fit in our box, or else we push it out. So this is the opposite of that. We're developing a certainty wisdom that just wants to include, to curiously investigate, to see what else is happening, to keep looking at the nature, at our experience, at our own mind, try to keep looking, and until we really see for ourselves again and again and again and again, this is true. And on the relative level, that just comes down to interdependence. Everything comes together and eventually comes apart on the relative level. And on the absolute level of Buddha's Two Truths teachings, there is an unchanging thread of awareness that can't be grasped. It has no fixed characteristics in any kind of a relative way, because it's not an object of experience. It doesn't stay put. It's the awareness that's always happening, that sense of awareness that's unchanging. So these two parts, that everything is impermanent because everything comes together and is interwoven with cause and effect, and then secondly, the absolute side of the awareness within which all of this arising and abiding and dissolving happens within. These two parts, the relative and absolute, the changing, uninterrupted changing nature of all relative experience, and then the unfabricated, unchanging, absolute nature of awareness. So these are these two components of the path that we have to really get a firm conviction about, an unwavering conviction. This is the truth. This is how this is. And just honestly speaking, in my little experience with Dharma, this takes a lot of time. We have to keep testing, keep looking, keep practicing. And a story, a metaphor that's really helped me again and again and again, it just keeps popping in my head over the years, is this story is like kind of just a person walking on a beach. And on this beach, there's all these starfish on the shore. And they're just all getting baked in the sun and dying. And so it's kind of heart-wrenching for this person walking. And they keep walking on the beach, all these hundreds of thousands of starfish. They're all dying, and they come upon a person down the beach, and this person's going one by one, picking up starfish and throwing them back into the ocean. And then the person walking on the beach is, "Oh, what are you doing? There's no way you can help all these starfish. They're going to die." And then the person standing on the beach bends down, and picks up a starfish, throws it into the ocean, says, "I helped that one." That every moment we put into our practice is a valuable, meaningful, vastly significant moment. But we just doubt it. We don't immediately see the benefit. We don't immediately see some big karmic consequence. Maybe we see a little benefit. Oh, we're a little more relaxed, a little more caring, a little more kind to ourselves, a little more kind to others. Then we keep trying to sustain this moment by moment, just these short little windows of practice. It doesn't have to be some big thing, but just short little interruptions of how we think everything is just so stuck this way. I am this way. Life is this way. These little interruptions of oh, maybe it's not all this way. Maybe there's a little window of kind of some humor in the situation, a little fresh air, a little kind of sense of what if. Oh, maybe I don't know. Maybe something different could happen. A little curiosity. And just moment by moment, these little windows, and that's the whole point of kind of engaging the teachings, whether we're reading the scriptures, memorizing the scriptures, transcribing the scriptures, or sitting down, doing formal meditation, a silent sitting meditation, or a chanting meditation. Then we're just constantly interrupting this tendency to doubt. Where we pull ourselves out of the situation and we look at ourselves experiencing it and say, "Oh, we keep bursting our own bubble." Instead of just letting ourselves be with the practice, be with the teaching, we keep stepping outside and watching it. Oh, it's not really good enough. I'm not good enough. This isn't strong enough. I should do some other thing. Maybe there's another better practice. We kind of keep interrupting the moment. We keep popping ourselves outside of the moment. Let's say it's like taking two sticks to rub together to make a fire. If we keep stopping the motion, then we'll never get enough friction to cause heat and ever have a fire. It really does have to be an ongoing effort of moments. And these moments build up, and then we really do see this change for ourselves in our own experience. Little by little. And in a very, very practical way, this really comes down to just common sense. We've gone over some basic view last time of the impact that our motivation has on our practice. And the common sense teaching, the most outer, everyday, practical teaching the Buddha taught us is these 4 thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma. we are essentially worthwhile, valuable, this precious human embodiment, each of us. It's unquestionable. If we could look at it closely, we'll come to see that is true. The second, impermanence. Everything is impermanent. The third, cause and effect. Good leads to good, bad leads to bad. It's cause and effect. It doesn't really need a big explanation. There's so many teachings, but cause and effect. And then samsara. When we grab onto part of a moving system and we hold on to it, wishing it stays in place, it starts to drag us around, and it's suffering. We feel the burn of getting pulled around by our own grasping. The samsara, it's dissatisfying. It's uncertain. We want to hold it and make it certain, so there's not that sense of dis-ease or insecurity. So we try to lock it in place, and it refuses to lock in place because it's impermanent, and then we get pulled by it, by experience, by our emotions, by our thoughts, by what's happening outside. These four thoughts are the most practical level, common sense. They don't require really much logical investigation. It's just their basic default views of almost every being, like every human being. We just keep not trusting them. So that's why the Buddha really strongly encouraged us to test for ourselves. Look at the preciousness of our situation. And remember that, like have that be a lived experience every moment. Or impermanence. This is impermanent. As it happens, it's going. So we shouldn't waste our time on things that really aren't so meaningful. Cause and effect. Like if we do these good things, if we have a more relaxed state of mind, that habit becomes stronger if we keep doing it over time. Similarly, if we're avoiding a bad habit, we stop ourselves from doing something that's not as destructive. It doesn't help us. It doesn't make us happy. It doesn't make others feel good and relaxed around us. We stop doing that, and gradually that habit weakens until we're just not interested in it so much anymore. That's cause and effect. And then samsara is suffering. It's unfixable. We should do whatever we can to make other beings happy, to care for them, to care for ourselves. We should do anything and everything we can that's within our power, our means, our understanding with what's available with others, their readiness. But we'll never fix it. Samsara will always be suffering. Grasping mind will always be tinged by suffering, the truth of pervasive suffering. It's just how grasping mind works. And so we do whatever we can to ease our own minds and to ease the minds of others. We put so much energy into that as like taking a bodhisattva vow. That becomes our path. All we're trying to do is relieve others, help a little bit, and bit by bit, starfish by starfish, drop by drop, these moments build up and they become more prolonged experiences, and then it becomes more of a stable way that we're constantly engaging our life over time. I find just for myself, again and again, it's really important to recognize two sides of this. One, every moment counts. Every little bit makes a big difference because it's karma, cause and effect. Every moment has impact because it's infinitely intermingled with all the other things happening, all the other moments of mind, all the other moments of physical interaction. It's all interrelated. So everything counts. And at the same time, to really see a significant impact in changing our habits over time, we really have to keep putting the moments in. We really do. It's just a very practical thing. Otherwise, it's like Lama Rinpoche's father. He joked, if we just have a rainbow mouth, not rainbow heart. We just talk nice. We can say, everything's impermanent, and it's all a divine mandala, and everything's free and easy, and it's all already fine. Or it's so easy to say those things. It's so easy to say those things. But to actually have that really absorb in our hearts and mingle that with our minds all the time, It really takes sustained effort over time. And everything we put into it will actually bring about that result, because cause and effect, that cause will never be lost. But to really have our mind be tamed, to change, to have those habits be smoothed out so that then there's a little window of opening where we don't doubt our nature anymore. We just let ourselves be natural. And then our Buddha nature just shines. Because the negative habits are so strong, it really takes time to smooth out, to have the positive habits come fresh, and then just to finally relax and just we let our minds and our bodies and our speech just naturally do what they do. They're already their enlightened nature just shines out. So that's just a brief thing I thought to mention. I didn't really have any time to prepare this today. So that's my kind of random rambling. But the basic point is really every moment does count. And the moments build up to really big effects. And so if we want to see a big result in our practice, we have to be very practical. Put the moments in. Short little moments. And then we change our mind. We just pause and refresh. Pause, refresh. Open, grounded, sensitive to others, caring, kind. These great noble beings, like you can see that as these great masters get older, so many of them just become so sweet and kind. I've seen this a little bit in my experience. Maybe when they're a little younger, a little more vigorous, they're a little more sharp cutting. Depends on the master. Clear this away, eliminate this obstacle, eliminate this, just get everything lined up. And in the end, these masters become so sweet. Oh, you do one mani, just one. They don't say a million. Because every little thing counts, every little bit. And so we have to play both sides. One, every mani mantra really counts. The provisional teachings say that really can give such vast benefit. One moment of reflecting on impermanence has such an almost nearly infinite positive impact. But at the same time, we need to keep having those moments happen. We need to keep reflecting on impermanence, on preciousness, on cause and effect, on samsara. And with this ground, then we'll stay on the path of not doubting our own goodness, the goodness of others. We'll actually eliminate that unhealthy doubt, which closes us down and leads us away from the nature. And instead, we'll really brightly, clearly shine this certainty wisdom that's free of doubt. The nature is what it is. You and me are fundamentally good. And there's a path in actually having this goodness come out more and more reliably all the time, that enlightenment is possible and beings have done it. And now's my opportunity to walk this same path and see for myself the benefits that come from that and offer that kindness and generosity to others, make their lives just a little better, give them a little more support so they can relax into their own goodness too. So drop by drop, we do that together. And these are kind of the point of these practice sessions, just to kind of reconnect, have a little window where we're kind of supporting each other, and doing that kind of based on our own limitations, but putting in the time little by little. And the result will be, according to all the sutras and tantras, just amazingly powerful, impactful, and wonderful. We'll see that at some point along the path, we'll have the clarity of mind, the certainty wisdom will be strong enough, where we'll see the karmic result in our own experience and look back on these times now and so genuinely rejoice that we took these moments to do this Dharma activity. We'll be just overwhelmingly happy that we put this time in now for ourselves and for others. So thank you all so much. We'll do a short silent meditation, and then we'll continue here with the Dudjom Tersar Ngondro sadhana practice by His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche. The session will go till 5:15, and then so in about a little hour and 10 minutes. So we'll begin at the beginning, and so this Dudjom Tersar Ngondro, it begins on page 12 with the 7-line prayer, and then due to time constraint, we'll go through everything. Great, thank you.